This is Miss Barrett. I am going to model and explain a method you will all be using to conduct some online research. You will be researching answers to the questions you generated about the September 17th, 2020 question focus. I'm going to model how to research answers to questions about the Mississippi River. Your questions will more than likely be about the Arctic. Also, do note that though you worked in breakout rooms to develop the questions, this research will be done individually. To conduct this online research, you are going to be filling in a chart such as this. You have a place to write down or copy and paste the questions that you decided you were most interested in finding answers to, a place to record the websites you use, and also a place to collect your research notes. You want to also try to keep track of where you are finding what information. That is because this will become increasingly important this year, especially in language arts. Also, work very hard to put the information in your own words. You don't want to do a lot of copying and pasting from websites. You want to work to really understand the answers to the questions that you have. I also have a place where I am going to collect any additional questions and other notes that I think of while researching. I know from previous experiences researching online, it is easy to get sidetracked. So I'm going to work very hard to keep focused, but I also want to make sure that I have a place to capture those additional questions I think of or other thoughts that come to mind. So to get started, I will look at my first question: what pollutants are in the Mississippi River? So I will copy and paste that right into a new tab. And so then I'm going to inspect the domains of all these different sources. Remember how the Brain Pop video explained domains. In science, you really want to look for .gov or .edu websites. Those are often very credible. However, open domain websites, such as .com websites, do have their usefulness as well. So my first website that comes up is a .com website. It looks like it might be some kind of newspaper article. Okay, and it is listing some of the pollutants. But I will scroll down to see if I get a .gov website, and I do. This one is from the National Park Service. Water quality in the Mississippi River. Introduction. Want to know what you can do at home to reduce the amount of pollutants entering the river? Incorporate a few water quality tips into your daily life and make a difference. Learn more about research that fuels new discoveries and helps us to manage the national parks, including the Mississippi National River and Recreation Area. So it looks like this web page has the purpose of educating me on what I can do as an individual to reduce the pollutants that are entering any river, not just the Mississippi River, because it says entering the river. Well, no, actually, it does look like it's targeted towards the Mississippi River. Okay. So it's not directly necessarily answering this question, but it might give me some of an answer. Current status and research. Stretches of the Mississippi River within the park corridor exceed water quality standards for mercury, bacteria, sediment, PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyl, and nutrients. So I do have a list of pollutants. So I'm going to copy this website, and then I'm going to set myself up to keep track of where I'm finding this information. And I'm going to work to put this information in my own words. Mercury, bacteria, and sediment pollute the Mississippi, which I'll abbreviate, River. PCBs and nutrients. also pollute this river. Now, something I'm wondering, how can nutrients be pollutants? Because it seems like nutrients would be a good thing. So I will put that on my list for some later research. How can nutrients be pollutants? Aren't nutrients a good thing? Okay. And where would mercury come from? Now, finding the answer to where mercury comes from when it's going into the Mississippi River does seem more directly connected to this question than looking for an answer to how nutrients can be pollutants. So I will open a new tab and ask the question, um, where does the mercury polluting the Mississippi River come from? Okay. Oh, selected pesticides use heavy metals such as mercury as an integral component. And this is a .gov website. So this looks like well, it looks like a lengthy article written for scientists, but I think I can try to understand some of the information. And I noticed that as soon as I was directed to the website, there was some highlighting, and it seems like I've lost that. So maybe, okay. So, very helpfully, Google highlighted the part in the article that answers my question. Selected pesticides use heavy metals, such as mercury, as an integral component. During the late spring and early summer, after fertilizers and pesticides have been applied, the runoff from rain flushes these contaminants into the Mississippi River. So I'll visualize what's happening here. Pesticides are probably being sprayed onto farmland, and we have farms across the United States. And then when the rain comes, those pesticides, which contain mercury, uh, go into different rivers, and those rivers eventually connect to the Mississippi River. So I will copy this website, and I'm going to then record what I've learned from it. So this is from pubs.usgs.gov. The mercury comes from pesticides. Okay, so selected pesticides use heavy metals such as mercury. And there is runoff from the rain. So runoff from the rain brings these metals or brings mercury into the Mississippi River. Now, I could continue to research this question. However, I want to also have some time to research this question. Can you swim in the Mississippi River?